Zach Wilson, quarterback, BYU, listed as 6'3", 210 pounds. This is a guy who was second FBS in completion percentage this year. Completed 247 passes out of 336 attempts for 73.5% completion percentage. He was very, very accurate. He was third in college football with 33 touchdowns, and he only had 3 interceptions as well. So he's very accurate, doesn't turn the football over at all. This was a guy who I went into this draft prospect with no, I didn't watch any BYU this year, right? And I heard Zach Wilson's name, and he's come up like Chris Sims is like, oh, he's my QB1. Okay, Chris, I know you've had some good success down the road, but still Trevor Lawrence. But after watching the tape, I came away going, Chris Sims isn't crazy.
He's not. I mean, he's maybe for putting him at one. Yeah.
But I came away loving Zach Wilson. I haven't had that much fun watching a rookie quarterback since I watched Baker Mayfield. And he reminds me a lot of Baker Mayfield as well. This was a guy who is just electric. It's like every game you watch is exciting with Zach Wilson. This is a guy who is very well in the pocket. He can manipulate defenders with his eyes already. The way he gets the ball out, he'll get the ball out at any different angle. His arm angles are absolutely beautiful to watch. I mean, there was a play he made that I was watching versus LA Tech in the second quarter, 5 minutes and 17 seconds left. You can watch this in the Dynasty Nerds film room where he does a fake handoff, looks to his right, nothing there, spins around, runs left, looking left, stops, plants, looks right away, hits the receiver, dead throw. It was a dime where only the receiver could catch. Initially ruled a touchdown, but then it was reversed to being out to 1, but it could have been a touchdown. And that play right there, to me, defines Zach Wilson. This is a guy who's extremely accurate on the run. Mobile. Zach Wilson's made to be a quarterback in today's NFL, right? I know he looks like he's only 8 years old. He does.
I'll give him 12. 12.
I showed my wife, I was like, when I was scouting, I was like, look at this guy right here. She's like, yeah? I was like, my son's 11, right? He just turned 11. I was like, if this kid, I was like, don't look at his arms. Look at his face. I was like, if this guy came home with our son, and he's like, this is my friend. You'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense. My son's 11.
Yeah.
That's Zach Wilson. So, but this guy is like, like Baker, he does not care. He's a gunslinger. He is a baller. It's probably one of his biggest flaws is sometimes like sometimes quarterbacks in the NFL, one of the big things these young guys, like a guy like Zach Wilson has to learn how to do is take what's given to you, right? Sometimes it's not the big play. Zach Wilson at BYU was always looking versus the big play. And he had to, BYU's competition wasn't as, as daunting as a guy like Trevor Lawrence. So he can do that. So there's some times there where he'd overextend himself. He's trying to make that big play and it wouldn't work as much as you want to. But I love that. I love that drive. I love that willingness to go out there and make that big play and throw it into the tight window there. This was a guy who could put the ball. We talked about putting the ball all levels of the field.
Yep.
He can do that. His deep ball accuracy and his intermediate accuracy were all great. His deep ball accuracy was about over 50%, right around 55%. His intermediate short throws were almost at 70% as well. These are all according to PFF. So this is a guy who could put the ball anywhere on the field. His pocket presence was a beautiful thing to see. He could feel the pressure, roll out, but a guy who can move well, his first instinct was never to run, right? We're going to talk about some quarterbacks in his draft where the first read's gone, get a little pressure, their first instinct to run. Not Zach Wilson. He'll get out of the pocket, and it doesn't matter where the defender is. He can change his arm angle and get the ball exactly where it needs to be. And he's also got a very strong arm. This is an athletic quarterback that I absolutely love. I fell in love with him. He's my quarterback 2 in this draft, hands down, in a Superflex league. It's Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, no exceptions for me. This is a guy that I can see having success. I love quarterbacks I see. Like we're going to talk about a guy like Mac Jones. Where's he going to land? That determines a little bit for me. Doesn't matter where Zach Wilson goes to me. I think this kid will have success. Am I a little bit worried about it's that 1 year of success and that's it? Well, he had a torn labrum in 2019. And then, so who knows what his 2019 would have been if he didn't have the torn labrum. And again, he needs to calm down a little bit, not just go out there and make these big time throws and just be that gunslinger at all times. But I see a lot of Aaron Rodgers in his game. He reminds me of Baker. You'll hear some Johnny Manziel comps in there as well. But for me, my best comparison for me personally, it's going to be Baker Mayfield, but a little bit more athletic Baker Mayfield.
I was going to say, I think he's taller than Baker, and I think he's more athletic than Baker. I think that's kind of where they differentiate themselves. But he definitely has all the accuracy that you need out of a quarterback. And what I liked was when there's bodies around him, he doesn't panic. You know what I mean? He steps up in the pocket, he shuffles himself around, and he's looking to make plays, like you said. So it's and to me that's a big indicator. Like, he's not just looking to take off, he's not freaking out. Some guys, they look like a deer in headlights when they get a little bit of pressure on him, and that wasn't him. So another big reason that I liked him was that, and the mobility thing I think is probably underplayed a bit. Like, he can definitely pick up first downs, but I think it's more than that. I think he's going to be a guy that's a little bit like Aaron Rodgers when he was young. He was making plays with his feet and getting you fantasy points with his feet before he kind of figured out the NFL game. So I think it's going to be a nice way for him to transition, is kind of use that mobility, that extra mobility, compared to a guy like Baker Mayfield who's probably a little bit on the slower side, just to kind of get himself into the groove in the NFL. I think it'll be a nice transition for him.
Yeah, I walked away watching Zach Wilson's tape more impressed than I thought I was going to be. And I really enjoy
Ditto there as well.
Yeah, I really enjoy that, because sometimes you go in with like certain preconceived notions on what you think a player is going to be. But I really, really try hard to go in with a clean slate each time I go in. So that way I'm evaluating just the player, not, all the narratives, all the, whatever. Zach Wilson really, really impressed me. I don't know that I walked away with anything that I was like, this is an elite trait here. I don't know that I walked away with anything like that. However, almost every single trait he has is good to way above average. And that's I think what's going to be really nice for him is there's no real obvious holes in his game. He does everything pretty well.
He's got good footwork. He's got really good accuracy.
I loved how he manipulated the pocket when he was feeling pressure. He manipulated the pocket really well, but was still able to keep his eyes downfield. You would see guys coming in at his knees, coming in at his legs, and he was sidestep, step up in the pocket, he just felt all of that really, really well. So I came away a lot more impressed with Zach Wilson than I thought. Although the one thing I'm surprised, Rich, you laid it out beautifully, but the one thing that I thought for sure I would have heard you say about him is how he brought 2 girls to the prom.
What?
Hey, he had that Bo Callahan effect, though. He wasn't his team captain, so maybe that's why he's getting all the chicks to prom. 2 girls to prom?
2 girls to prom in high school.
Yeah, well, it's probably his babysitters.
But I do like Zach Wilson, and a little bit of a spoiler, but I'm gonna have a very hard time figuring out quarterbacks 2 through 4 for me.
I said the exact same thing when I first walked in Rich's house today to do this. We started right in on Zach Wilson here.
As soon as he walks in the door, I'm like, dude, I love Zach Wilson.
And I'm like, dude, I like him too. I just don't know where to put him 2, 3, or 4 yet. Like, I'm really trying to figure it out. I really like him. There's a lot of tools.
It's a great class.
It is a great class, and there's some other very talented guys that we're going to talk about here. But I like the fact that he took a big step. Like you said, he tore his labrum last year, and then he dedicated himself in the offseason. He went to the QB 3D. Another former BYU quarterback, John Beck, puts it on. And he was there during COVID lockdown when people are like working out in their garage, like with water jugs and stuff. He's at this like specialized quarterback camp, like 6 days, 6 out of 7 days or something like that, like really grinding and putting in work. And the numbers this year are vastly improved compared to the year before. And he just takes care of the ball so well. 33 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. He took such a giant leap that it's one of these things. I love the trajectory going forward. And once he gets real NFL coaching, not one of these like just little quarterback camp type of things, he could really take off.
Well, I mean, if Zach Wilson lands on the Panthers with Joe Brady and Matt Rule,
yeah, it would be beautiful.
I mean, that is a dream in heaven. DJ Moore's value is skyrockets, right? So you guys you're saying you're having some trouble here with like 2 to 3, and it's fair, because if somebody took Justin Fields ahead of him in Superflex, I'm not going, whoa, buddy, what are you doing? But you're sitting here saying there's nothing I really want to critique here flaw-wise. There's things we can critique right now with Justin Fields. Do I think Justin Fields can overcome those? Yes, but I think Justin Fields needs a year or 2 in the NFL to overcome those. But he needs to get, like, Zach Wilson's already doing what I want Justin Fields to do, I guess the best way to say it. And what I love about Zach Wilson, you said there's nothing elite. What I came away big about Zach Wilson was, you mentioned his pocket presence and the way he's able to manipulate the pocket. He uses eyes
does.
There's quarterbacks in the NFL that don't use your eyes as good as Zach Wilson does now, and that is a huge component
plus.
to playing quarterback, to manipulate the defense with your eyes, and he did that consistently. You mentioned kept his eyes downfield, but also kept his eyes where he needed to keep his eyes as well. Wasn't locked in. Well, there's another quarterback we talked about that we made potential 3. One of my biggest takeaways is like he needs to learn how to use his eyes significantly better. Zach Wilson already does it. It's one of my favorite things I highlighted on my notes was this kid is NFL ready, the way he manipulates and owns that pocket and how he can get his mobility out of the pocket with an accuracy. And that's why I described that play versus LA Tech, right? About how he rolls his eye, he rolls to his right with the fake handoff, keeps his eyes downfield, rolls around left, and he's looking left towards the sideline the other way, and then stops immediately playing because he knows where he's going with the football, right? He's a smart quarterback. So again, for me personally, it's an easy 1-2 to me. Let me put it to this point. When it comes to quarterback tiers and Superflex, I thought going into this, it'd be Trevor Lawrence in tier 1 all by himself. I'm willing to put Zach Wilson in tier 1 with him. It's a clear number 1 for Trevor Lawrence, so I guess you could say it's his own tier.
So maybe Lawrence tier, Wilson tier, and then
Fields his own tier 2 because I wouldn't take anybody out of him.
So you have very clear breaks in your rankings. But
for me this year, it's no matter what goes down, no matter how it happens in Superflex, no matter what happens going forward, even in the NFL draft, this is a situation draft's not going to deter me. It's Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, and Superflex. 1, 2, 3. I know Jamar Chase is a fantastic prospect. I know Najee Harris is a great running back. But in a Superflex league, there's absolutely no chance anybody. If it's Adrian Peterson coming out, right? Adrian Peterson coming out. Well, it's ADP though. He was pretty damn good. You know what I mean? But
if I know for sure it's Adrian Peterson,
but you know what I mean? It's like that's how important the quarterback is in Superflex leagues, and that's how talented I think these guys are and what they could bring to the table. Because if any of them pan out to how I think they could pan out, you can get Christian McCaffrey for a guy like Zach Wilson, which sounds insane today, but right now, if you wanted Christian McCaffrey in a Superflex league and you're offering him Justin Herbert, who went 1-3 last year, you'd have to seriously consider that in a Superflex league. And I would take Justin Herbert over Christian McCaffrey in a Superflex league.
There was somebody that I was listening to, and they were talking about Zach Wilson, and one of the things that they said, and I went back and watched the tape, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is absolutely correct. His hands are that of a middle infielder in baseball.
I saw the Omar Vizquel comp.
Yeah, he has crazy quick hands. Just crazy quick hands. Maybe it was Daniel Jeremiah. I don't know.
He was a point guard, I believe, in basketball as well.
Yeah, you could just tell he has a very quick hands, very quick release, knows what he's doing. Like all of it is just so smooth, and it does. It reminds you of a middle infielder in baseball, and I thought that was a really interesting way to phrase it. But when I went back and watched, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I saw that in Peter King's Monday Morning article this week. It was he had like a lot of like 5 guys like Greg Roldensaul or Chris Sims, all them list their quarterbacks in a row, and one of them said like his hands remind me of Omar Vizquel. And I just saw it. I just read it Monday.
Yeah,
I saw it on there. So yeah, big fans. I'm glad that we're all big fans here as well. And you said you're having a hard time to determine where's what, and that's fair because they're all good quarterbacks.
It's a really, really good class.
To me, again, I like you said, going to that unbiased opinion, I came away beyond like if we were going to take these quarterbacks going like if we took the last 3 years, Zach Wilson would be up there for me amongst those lists ahead of Tua easily last year, and he was our 1-2 last year pretty civilly. But the difference between Tua Tagovailoa and Zach Wilson to me, again, night and day.